Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Janet Cresson. We start off today talking about the power of your smile, and research has proven time and time again that it helps provide health in our bodies, minds, and even relationships, not to mention making a good first impression. But if your smile isn't quite what you wish it would be, there is help. And with me, I have periodontist Dr. Joseph Cristoforio. Thanks for stopping by, Doctor.
Good.
So let's start off. What is a periodontist?
Simply put, a periodontist is a dental specialist who focuses on the recognition, prevention, and treatment of periodontal diseases, and also provides dental implant services. Periodontists are often called upon to treat patients with more complex problems, working in concert with general practitioners and other dental specialists. In addition to providing patients with surgical and non-surgical services, periodontists are very often involved in cosmetic procedures, aiding general practitioners in planning and executing smile makeovers.
Okay, smile makeovers. That's right there in a nutshell, isn't it?
Right.
So you mentioned periodontal disease, and that's a pretty important thing. Tell me a little more about that.
Periodontal disease is a bacterially induced inflammatory condition that leads to breakdown of the supporting structures of the teeth, namely the gingiva or gum tissues, as well as the underlying jaw structure. As periodontal disease progresses, oftentimes active infection ensues and people lose teeth unnecessarily. In addition, periodontal disease is often associated, or has been associated through the research, with many medical conditions, such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, respiratory diseases, even cancers. And this is through the fact that periodontal diseases share certain inflammatory pathways that are in combination with these other medical conditions.
Wow, that's quite an effect. And sounds like it can be preventable if we can get a start
Preventable
on it.
and treatable.
And treatable, which is where we come into place with dental implants?
Correct.
Oh, okay, what are those?
Dental implants, simply put, are artificial tooth roots that allow us to replace, in dentistry, replace a single missing tooth, multiple missing teeth, even a whole jaw of teeth. When dental implants were first developed 50 plus years ago in Europe, they were used to anchor dentures, patients who were without all of their teeth, and we still use them to this day for denture wearers to secure a denture, giving them much better chewing efficiency and really changing their quality of life.
And that's a great segue. What are the benefits? Obviously, function, appearance?
The two main things, and I always talk to patients about, it's increased function, it's increased aesthetics.
Yeah.
And depending on different patient needs, obviously if they're replacing a front tooth and aesthetics become more of an issue. If it's a back tooth, chewing efficiency or function becomes more critical.
I imagine, with the aesthetics, even just forget about function, even though that's so critical for eating and things like that, but just the aesthetics of imagine folks missing out, staying at home, or just not enjoying life as much because they're not smiling, they're self-conscious about laughing, that kind of thing. You mentioned cosmetic services. Can you explain that?
Yeah, in addition to dental implants, like we were just speaking of, replacing a missing tooth, particularly a front tooth, as periodontists, we oftentimes are called upon to provide primarily two cosmetic services. One would be gingival or gum grafting, where patients may have exposed tooth roots due to gum recession. Oftentimes, these exposed tooth roots will allow patients or have patients look older than they actually are, quote unquote, long in the tooth. I beat you to it. Oftentimes we will replace this missing gum tissue with a cosmetic gingival or gum grafting procedure.
Interesting.
Also, we're oftentimes called upon to correct the gummy smile. A patient who shows very little teeth, a lot of gum tissue. I always tell patients, if you look at popular magazines, Cosmo, Glamour, when you look at the models on the cover, they're all teeth, right? You hardly see any gum tissue. And there are a lot of patients who are embarrassed about their smiles because they do show too much gum. And in those cases, we'll sculpt the gum tissue, exposing tooth that was previously unexposed, and really give them kind of a life changer.
Yeah, that would be life-changing. You're really helping people out. We're out of time, Dr. Joe. Thank you so much for coming in today. That's all really fascinating information.
Good stuff. Thank you.
You bet. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town. And welcome back to Talk of the Town. Well, according to research by the American Association of Retired Persons, nearly 90% of seniors want to stay in their own home as they age. And my next guest is helping our neighbors and our family members and area residents do just that. With me is Katie Kleesner of the West Madison Senior Center.
Hi.
Hi, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. So if you could, before we talk about your programs and what you do, please describe the folks that you are helping.
Of course. So our mission is to help older adults, 60 and older, stay independent and active in the community. So we help them and we provide programs, services, and local resources.
So let's talk about the programs. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of what you're all about.
Absolutely. So we aren't your typical senior center. We don't just do lunches and bingo. Our big program is our case management program. And our case managers are like social workers, and they help seniors one-on-one, usually in their own home, with connecting to resources and community services so they can stay independent. And that's also at no cost to seniors.
So the case management is teaming up with a retired person.
Yes.
And helping them sort of determine what their needs are and what you can do to help them by either linking them with agencies in the area or services?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and we also have a home chore program. So we connect community volunteers with older adults. And those volunteers go into the home of the senior and they help them with daily chores. So they might help take out the trash, shovel, which is a big thing right now, helping seniors shovel, mow the lawn, things like that they can't do any longer. So that helps them stay independent.
That's fantastic. Vacuuming, dishes.
Exactly.
Things like that.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. We also have programs at our senior center. So we do have the lunches and the bingos. We have exercise classes, educational classes. We have a lot of art classes, a lot of different things that seniors can do at a really low cost or free. So we try to keep it as free as possible for people.
As well as workshops. Did I see something about a foot care?
Yes,
Clinic?
there's a foot care clinic. So a nurse comes in and helps them with their toenails, and that is really helpful for seniors. We usually book up months in advance for that.
Oh my.
And we have a couple different locations, and we're partnered with Home Health United for that.
All right. Where are you located?
Yeah, so we are located at near Hilldale Mall. Our programs are at 602 Sawyer Terrace, and then we have an administrative office, which is just across the street at 517 North Seagull Road.
Okay, so your name of your organization is West Madison Senior Center.
Yes.
What if someone doesn't live on the west side?
Of course. So we are one of 4 Madison Senior Coalitions. There is one on the north side, the south side, as well as the east side. So any senior can come to our coalition or our senior center, but if they want case management, they're hooked up with their neighborhood coalition. So if someone wants to give us a call, we can always send them to the right coalition, but anyone is welcome, 60 and older, at our location as well.
Well, you did answer my question. I was going to ask about the case management
Oh, yeah.
situation if someone is not on the west side.
Yes.
And how that works.
Absolutely.
So with regard to the workshops and clinics and activities and nutrition,
Yes.
meals and things,
Yeah.
what are the hours of availability for these things?
Typically 8 to 4. Monday through Friday. We do offer a Saturday night meal once a month, as well as a Monday evening meal. And we have 4 meal sites on the west side. So anywhere, and also seniors can get transportation to those meal sites as well.
Oh, that's vital.
Yes, vital, for just a donation price.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
We just have a few seconds left. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Our senior center is really fun. We have a great staff. We like to do different programming, but mostly we're there for seniors to help them stay independent. That's our main mission.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Katie.
Absolutely, thank you.
Katie Kleesner is with the West Madison Senior Center. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. What do Steven Spielberg, Keira Knightley, CNN anchor Anderson Cooper, and NFL quarterback Tim Tebow all have in common? Besides being in the limelight a lot of the time, all of these folks have dyslexia, a common condition that affects the way that our brain processes written and spoken language. With me, I have Irvin Carpenter from the Wisconsin Institute for Learning Disabilities and Dyslexia. Welcome, Irvin. Thanks
Hi,
for
Jen.
joining me. Irv has dedicated his life to helping folks with dyslexia and making a difference for them. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So if you could give us a little background before we talk more about what you've been working on. Give me a little background of WILD is the acronym.
Sure.
Sure. I like that. Otherwise, like you said, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, we have wild Christmas parties, by the way. WILD was opened 10 years ago by myself and my co-founder, who is my wife. And we opened this nonprofit so we can teach as many people as we possibly can, children and adults, how to read and spell. So we work with learning disabled and dyslexic children and adults.
That's wonderful. And not only did you start this organization, but you've also created some teaching and testing methods. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. We knew from the onset that if we were going to open a place that we were going to teach children and adults how to read and spell, we had to have a way to show them results.
That's very motivating for
Yeah.
people, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So what we did is set up a system of where we could do baseline testing when they first come in and annual testing every year to show the growth that they would have in their reading and spelling skills. And in between those two testings, we also set up progress monitoring to where we could also show them per semester how much growth they had.
Wow, that feedback can be so important to
Oh, yeah.
keep people on track and encourage them to keep at it. How do you track that progress?
Well, we track it by using the Woodcock-Johnson 3. It's a tool, an assessment. It's a standard assessment that gives a standard score. So we can basically compare the student that we're working with their peers. So it shows in the norms that we're making some progress based on where their peers are.
Okay. Now, we'll have a chart come up on the screen here that shows some results. Go ahead and talk to me about that chart.
Oh, sure. The chart is the results of a research that we did through the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Dr. Bill Kitts compiled the data for us. And the results are, in the charts that you see, we have the baseline of 40 individuals. That was a random sample that we're taking from the clients that we had.
So it could be adults or children?
Yeah.
Okay.
Adults and children. So those 40 adults came at least 2 years to our program. And so in the blue, you see where they all started as a group of 40. Okay. And the red shows you the results of after 82 hours of work with us. So it's very impressive, and the thing to really look at on the chart is that the highest score of almost 3 grade levels in 82 hours is reading fluency. So when we talk about reading and teaching people how to read, we always measure success by reading comprehension and the reading fluency.
Sure.
And those are 2 of the highest scores that we have on our assessments.
That's got to be so gratifying for not only you, but them too, because it can be very frustrating, from what I understand, having dyslexia. And so having some tools to improve and make a difference. It sounds like you're getting results, and that's the significance of this data?
Yes, exactly, Janet. To show results. Today in education, we have to look at the interventions that are being provided and what are the results. And what we show and what this graph actually shows is that we are an intervention that works.
It works.
Yep.
If folks want to find out more, where do they go?
They go to our website at wild.org. And that graph and the research are all on the front page halfway down.
All right.
And they can read that
and take a look for themselves.
Yes.
Great. Well, we're out of time already. It goes fast.
It does.
Thanks so much for stopping by today. When we come back, we'll meet 3 teenage sisters that are making music, winning awards, and fans along the way. We'll
And
be
they
right
are
back
good.
after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. This is our final segment, and we'll turn our conversation to digital signage. And with me, I have Jane Phillips. She's with AVI Systems right here in Madison. Hi, Jane.
Hi, and thank you for having me on today. I
You bet.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. Before we get going about actually talking about digital signage, can you tell me about AVI Systems briefly, what your company is like?
Certainly. AVI Systems is what's called a systems integrator, and we specialize in AV technology such as video conferencing, presentations, smart boards, that type of thing, and as well digital signage. And we've been here in the Madison area for almost 40 years. And some of our clients are UW-Madison, American Family, Sub-Zero, but we also work with really just about any type of organization.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's get into digital signage, and you think that it's changing the way that businesses communicate?
I definitely know that that's true. I've been in the industry a long time. And other than video conferencing, I believe digital signage is impacting the way we communicate. And that's really because it allows total control over the message. You can decide when it's going to play, who it's going to play to, what the audience is, what the purpose is, and change it remotely, almost instantaneously.
And so what are the reasons that, are those some of the reasons why
They
businesses
are. You know, what we see as the prime uses today is staff, communicating with your staff or your employees, because this is a technology that transcends time zones, locations. It guarantees you can send exactly the same message at the same time. The second thing is we see really when somebody walks into your organization, you have about 8 seconds to make an impression, right? So we're seeing this used a lot in lobbies, video walls, that type of thing, to instantly tell that visitor who you are. The last thing is really branding and culture. And it's a tremendous tool to use to tell your story and to get your who you are across to everyone who walks through the door.
How does a company get started to explore if this is a good or beneficial thing for them?
Great question. You know, I think the instinct is to jump on the internet, but I can tell you what, that might be overwhelming because there's probably 300 plus different solutions out there. What I would do is reach out to your technology partner and have them start with really a discovery. Why are you thinking of using this? What would the purpose be? Who's going to manage this? How are you going to create content? And of course, what's your budget? The answers to those are really going to lead you to the right solution. So that's where I would start.
And if they do decide to proceed with this and implement it, what are the key things to keep in mind?
So I always say that content is the most important thing. And a lot of times folks get lost in, you know, what size display and that type of thing. But ultimately, it's the quality of the content that's going to make your system successful.
All right. And what do you think is the most important element in the systems that are available out there? Like you said, there's a lot.
There's a lot. And I think it depends on where you're at in the exploration. But this is a different technology, and I think you should look for a solution that provides great support that you can get training for and help in designing and implementing the system for you.
So is it a good investment? You probably think so.
I absolutely think so. You know, again, it depends on why you're doing this, but we can help our clients really determine how best to approach this, how much to invest, and what to expect out of their system and investment.
So very mindful approach to make sure it's the right thing for your customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
exactly.
makes all the difference.
It does.
Well, that's it for us today. Thank you, Jane. This is Jane from Jane Phillips, actually, from AVI Systems right here in Madison. And that's it for Talk of the Town. Thanks to all of our guests. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time here on the CW57.